very well constructed.
I was going to get some more chairs. Where are the chairs? More chairs? Any chairs?
Probably a liability.
I'll come with you and carry them.
Well, push them. You got 1 and 2 right there, right? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You can all leave now. You're on time. I'm not late.
Yeah.
Usually it's because I'm late everybody here.
We can slide.
One after.
That's good.
All right, we'll call the meeting of the Ellwood City Area School District to order. Today being Thursday, September 10th, 2015. Apologize for the delay in getting the meeting started. We were meeting in executive session for informational purposes on some of the agenda items this evening. So we apologize to keep you waiting. But if we could have a roll call, Mr. Zero.
Mr. Vazzelli. Mr. Cortez.
Here.
Mr. Garda.
Here.
Mrs. Grossman. Mr. Morella.
Here.
Mr. Newpower.
Here.
Mrs. Pansara. Mrs. Petrelli.
Here.
Mr. Stevenson.
Here.
Mr. Sharon.
Here.
Ms. Quisbit.
Here.
Mr. Mancini. Mr. DeCaro.
Here. Okay, if we could rise for a moment of silent meditation followed by the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't need him now.
Before we receive the minutes from our previous meetings, I trust that you had an opportunity to review those minutes. We need a motion to have them approved. Second, Mr. Stevenson. All in favor? Say aye. Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. All right, we will start off by going to our visitors this evening. If you could identify yourself for the record and state your reason for being here and your concern.
Okay, my name is Zach Sharon. I'm a sophomore, and I'm here to talk about what we're doing in student council.
Sounds good. I guess we should go have you just do your report right now. I apologize. We should have went right to you.
Don't worry.
No, you're good, that's good. Go ahead, we'll get right to it.
Sorry.
Zach and.
I'm Charlene, I'm also a sophomore representing student council.
Okay.
Let's hear the report, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Davis and Student Council would like to thank the administration and the school board for allowing us this time to report our activities.
We had our first meeting today and had a wonderful turnout. We were planning activities for a week-long lasting spirit week before homecoming. Where we would have different activities each day to help our new AD, and our new AD will help in the 5th and 6th grades. We are planning on Macy's Acapella Challenge this year. The song is "I Want You Back" by the Jackson 5. It's like the lip dub challenge that we did last year, but this year we have to sing. We were going to fundraise for our club by doing a candy sale in November. And further down the road, we are planning some other community services. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for your report. Any questions from the board? The candy sale, is that Daffin's Candy Bars?
I think we're doing Oreos this year.
Oh, okay, because I saw candy bars on my table last night. Figured I'll be buying all of them. All right, thank you for the report. Now we will go to the visitors. If you guys, we won't torture you. It's good stuff.
Why not?
You can leave at any time.
Experience.
Too long. Excellent. Thank you. All right, let's start over here to my left.
I'm Danielle Edwards. I have a son in kindergarten, and this is my first board meeting.
Welcome.
My name is Jamie Jeffcoat, and I also have a son in kindergarten. And I'm here to voice a few concerns that we have in reference to the dyslexia grant and the pilot program that's being implemented. Should I go ahead with my concerns?
Yeah, are you like the spokesperson?
I'm come as a pair.
Oh, boy, thanks. All right, well, let's, we'll hear the concerns that you have.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll go, I was supposed to go first. I'm Chris Biondi. I have a son in kindergarten, a daughter in 5th grade, and another son in 11th grade. Also here as part of the group voicing our concerns. Good evening. We are here to express our concerns as parents regarding the potential approval and implementation of the dyslexia grant. Our goal is to work together with the school board and administration to ensure that the best possible education for all of our children, and if the board approves the dyslexia grant, to ensure the proper implementation of the pilot program so it will benefit each and every child in the Northside Primary Center, not only this school year, but for several years to come. We've had several concerns throughout our meetings. They are as follows. According to the University of Southern Mississippi, the DuBard Association method is a phonetic, multisensory teaching learning strategy designed for children with language difficulties. Its intended purpose is an intervention program, and as a modified method could be used along with the core reading program. We understand that this will be delivered to our children in a modified version of the program, but we have not been informed how the program will be modified to ensure that all levels of abilities will be recognized, nor have we been informed after 3 weeks of school of the core reading program that will be used to go along with it. With the complexity of the program, how are parents going to be able to offer home support to help their children understand their schoolwork? Also, the grant states that parental consent is needed in order for a student to participate in the pilot program. If this is so, why are our children participating without permission? It seems as though the program is being thrust upon us, which, as stated, is intended to be used for students subject to have early learning reading deficiency or dyslexia. It also appears that a program designed and intended for students suspected to have an early reading deficiency or dyslexia with such an intensive learning format may not be the appropriate format for all kindergarten students. Furthermore, if this new format does not appear to be in the best interest of the children after years 1, 2, or 3 of the grant, and the district decides to go in another direction entirely, will our students that have had to learn this be at a disadvantage because of being involved in the program for 1, 2, or multiple years? In conclusion, we believe the DuBard program and the grant should definitely be used as it was intended, as an intervention program for children requiring early intervention. Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually have some material for you.
Mr. Biondi, your list of concerns there, is that part of this packet?
I do believe it's not. I do have an extra copy.
Yeah, if you could, I'm thinking that probably the best way to do
I only
this
have one
is.
extra copy, I apologize.
Well, that's all right. I mean, I'm thinking that you all received the frequently asked questions, and we identified that there are likely some things that were not addressed, some additional concerns that came up. What I think might be the best use would be to get this to Jackie and Chris, have them address the concerns, and then send out another, either an addendum to the frequently asked questions or address them individually. And that might be the most efficient way to get the concerns addressed.
Understand.
Ms. Jeffco, do you have some additional things?
Yes.
Okay. Feel free, I'm gonna give this to Jeff.
So the lack of communication regarding the pilot due to information not being available to the district by the PDE is concerning, as it reflects disorganization and raises uncertainty in how the pilot can be implemented effectively if the district does not have all of the details regarding implementation through week 3 of the school year. Our understanding is that the pilot was approved by the school board as it was delivered that would only include the students identified as needing an intervention and not be implemented in the general education setting. Was the board fully aware of the pilot changing the method of teaching for all students when the commitment letter was signed in December of 2014? The concern still stands that if the Northampton Association method is effective, that all school signs, books, and materials that our kindergarten children are exposed to throughout the entire day of the school will not be modified to include the coding. Lunchroom signs, hallway signs, any classroom labeling, etc. It would seem as if our children are learning to read based on those symbols, that it would be confusing for them to then be expected to read and understand in a school setting if everything they're exposed to during the learning process is not consistent. Along with that, how is making it consistent for those involved in the pilot going to affect the first and second graders that are not? I would assume seeing the coding for those students could cause confusion. What are the district's plans to address all student needs in the building during implementation of this pilot? Where can we find research to support that the DuBard method has been successful in a general education setting? What specific modifications are being made to the DuBard method for a general education setting? Specifically, how are the teachers blending the DuBard method with the McGraw-Hill Reading Wonder Series? Perhaps providing parents with a lesson plan sample would be helpful. We have been advised that the symbols and codes will be faded out as the student advances and no longer needs them. If a child can read now and has no phonemic issues, why will they be taught the codes at all? If each child advances at their own pace, it doesn't seem feasible to remove the symbols for some and not others when the entire class is together with one teacher. So in conclusion, our request tonight is that you please agree to enforce that all modifications and implementation of the said pilot affect only those students identified as needing an intervention. If in fact the district cannot comply with this request based on the guidelines or requirements of the pilot or grant stipulations, we ask that we have your support in voting against accepting the grant and against implementing the pilot program in our district.
Your list, is that something that we can get a hold of to
Yes,
address?
I can forward it to Mrs. Gibson and Mrs. Maskowski tomorrow.
Anybody else that has anything in addition to what the spokespersons have said?
I just wanted to add, I'm Jennifer Toman. I'm the parent liaison for the grant. And I personally wasn't given any information over the summer. There was a brief meeting at Seven Springs that discussed generalities. I wasn't able to make it to that meeting at Seven Springs, but it wasn't anything specific to our school district. Mrs. Gibson had set up a meeting that I was to meet with her, Ms. Masiosi, and the woman from the state. I showed up at Northside for the meeting and I was told to go home. So they explained to me that they had a lot of work to do, that it was a work session, and that there was a lot of misinformation that was in the public, and that I wasn't needed. And to me, it would seem that if there was misinformation, that I'm the parent liaison, and you would want to sit me down and discuss what was correct information and what was misinformation. But they didn't do that, so. And that, they told me they're meeting monthly, that was their meeting for September, and then they're also supposed to meet again sometime in October. So hopefully I'll be able to meet with them then.
Anything else from the visitors? All right, so, I mean, plan of attack is, I realize I'm not gonna probably have a response ready to go out tomorrow, but time frame sometime early next week to address the concerns, get them out. Everybody receives the emails. How are they disseminated?
We sent it home with the students. The frequently asked questions went into every student folder.
Okay. Is that's a good way to get the information out? Okay. Good. Can you email it to the board so we have the information as well? Both questions and concerns and answers. Okay. Very good. All right, there's nothing further from the visitors. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Can you all introduce so we know who's here for the record?
I'm Lindsay Liller, and I have two students, one in third and one in kindergarten, and I share these concerns.
I'm Rachel McGreal. I have a child in 4th grade and a child in kindergarten.
Kathy McCommons, PTO rep. I'm hearing a lot from the parent end because I'm the PTO president. There's so much frustration out there, and I understand the administrative part of it as well. And school board, you're just getting this information now. I just need to say that the parents are very frustrated at this point and very concerned. So I don't know if anyone else is going to speak on it, probably not. I think the parents who did speak did a wonderful job, and the way they presented to you, my hat's off to you because I've seen some heated things in this room. Well done, parents. There's a lot of frustration and confusion out there, and if anything can be done, the quicker the better to make this more clear for the parents, it would be greatly appreciated. That's all.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. I also agree with the representatives. I think that it's a good way for us to get it. I mean, we can sit here and be going back and forth all night, and we're only going to retain bits and pieces. I just think that's a good way to go about it, so that we're getting the facts out and addressing each and every concern.
I'm Betsy Johnston. I have a son in kindergarten, and I'm just concerned at how this is going to affect my son.
I'm Danielle Woodhead. I'm a parent, and people already think I'm on school board. So I've been getting a lot of questions, and I have too been researching, and I just want to make sure these people have answers instead of skirting around the issues.
Hi, I'm Kelly Nardone. I have a child in 2nd and 4th grade. This issue right now is not affecting me, and I am really just here to learn more about what's going on locally.
Erica Gray, I'm here for the PTO. I have a child in 6th and 3rd, so this doesn't affect me directly, but just future concern for the district.
Thank you.
Amanda Thompson, I have a son in 2nd grade, and I have another one who's going to be in kindergarten next year. So I just wanted to come. I've just heard bits and pieces, so I wanted to kind of hear it from the horse's mouth, and I learned a lot just from you guys, so thank you.
I'm April Crispin. I have a daughter in 3rd grade, and I'm just here to get more involved in the school.
Good. Welcome. Come every month.
I do have a question though. I guess you guys updated your computer systems, and I'm divorced, and my ex-husband and I both have equal joint custody of my daughter. However, they said only one contact can be in the computer system. and it's him. Well, what happens if you can't get a hold of him and it's my week that I have her?
Right.
How am I gonna be notified that there's something wrong?
I can't imagine that that's a unique situation. There has to be many people in that same situation. We have,
Well, we have emergency cards with many phone numbers on them,
right.
and we resort to that.
But I mean, the system, is there a spot for that?
Yeah, they're in the process of going through that now. When we converted it over, we only took one phone number because the phone numbers were such a mess. So they're in the process of going through, cleaning things up, adding who needs to be added. And that has to be done, so when we open the parent portal, you'll both have access to the parent portal, not just, you won't have to share an account. So they are cleaning that up and straightening that out, so give them another 4 or 5 days and that should all be done.
Good. Thank you, Helen. Thank you.
I'm Melissa Michaels. I have a daughter in first grade and a son in kindergarten, and I share the same concerns that were brought up by the parents today.
Thank you.
My name is Michelle Biondi. I have a child in kindergarten, 5th grade, and 11th. I share the same concerns, obviously. And, you know, I actually have another question. I'm a little bit confused right now. Has the board already approved this grant? So have you guys already approved it, so it's being implemented now for sure?
Well, the grant was approved at a previous meeting, and it's on the agenda tonight to, I don't know if my language is right, for the next phase of the program.
And I don't understand what that means. Could you explain that to me? Like, what's the next phase?
From my understanding is that there has to be board approval for each phase, and I don't know if by phase it's
actually the amount of
disbursement.
money. So the first phase was, I believe, 6 months, it was a $20,000 grant. The next phase is for July 1 to June 30, 2016, that's $40,000. The following year would be another $40,000, and then I believe a half year of $20,000, which would be $120 over that period of time.
But the full pilot program, participation in the full pilot program was approved by the board on December 11th of 2014. This part is just for the monetary acceptance each fiscal year of the money, because it's during different fiscal years, is that right?
So when do we give our parental consent then? Because I understood that the grant said that once the grant was accepted and once we're going to participate in this program, that we do have to give our consent. So if we're already participating in the program, I know I haven't given consent.
The parental consent is for the diagnostic assessment and intervention that would happen for children that are at or below benchmark at the winter assessment. So it's not for participation just in instruction. If you look at the actual legislation, the Act 69, that's where it kind of details that a little bit more. I'm not sure which one you're holding up, but I have it, I can show it to you guys.
It actually states in here, in writing, that it is to have parental consent in writing. Shall require the parent or guardian voluntarily and knowingly consent to a student's continued participation in the pilot program.
Once they require intervention, I think that's the statement before that.
Yes.
Yeah, so this, we're not doing
But you're
intervention
saying-
here.
But you're applying it to everyone.
everybody.
One at a time.
So the actual intervention piece that's required by the pilot is not being implemented until after the winter benchmark, which would be in January. That is the part where we would need consent for a diagnostic assessment for those students that are at or below benchmark, and then to provide that specific intervention based on that diagnostic assessment. That is the intervention piece. And the paper you have is not the actual legislation, that's Act 69 is the actual legislation, and I can show you that, and that kind of details it a little bit more clearly.
We'll address that in the
Yeah, we'll put that
communication.
in as well.
Thank you.
I'm Gemma McCaslin. I teach pre-K counts at Hartman, and I was just here to get some more information on the pilot program.
Thank you.
I'm Melissa Toon. I'm Ellwood City parent, so I was here to give some information.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. All right, let's, is there anybody giving a superintendent's report that Josiah? All right, sure. All right, we can get our principal if you want. Floor is yours.
I mean, it was a good, great start to the school year at Lincoln. Got open house in, got picture day in, got our early meetings with our seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, counselors and myself, and then the 7th, 8th grade, Ms. Pursuta, and the counselors. So we have all that in, got Labor Day vacation out, now it's ready to roll, so that's all I have right now.
Perry and Hartman, the building is shiny, the kids are shiny, everything's, flowing pretty well. The Wolverine workshop is up and running, kids have been in there, listening to the buzz in there. When the kids are in there, hands-on activities, doing what they do, it's almost magical. You almost have to experience it to understand, to believe what's going on. They're excited to do this, and it's a terrific learning experience, and it's not even tip of the iceberg at this point. We've scratched the surface, but just to see where we are and what we've done so far has been really good. And the kids have not done 3D design and not done 3D printing, but these are actually from our.
I thought you brought snacks.
I'm not going to advise eating those, but if you want to pass some of these around, and we've got one for everybody on the board.
You made these or kids made?
I did not. Mr. Setzenfan made them. Again, these are officially keychains, and the kids are going to have opportunities to do this stuff, but that has not happened yet. So one of those for everybody on the board, and then if you want to pass this around, that's something Mr. Setzenfan designed, and this is something that was being printed as the circuit glue, and we got glue a few, so it didn't exactly get finished. That's all I have. Thank you.
So far,
This
so
came out
good.
of the printer?
Yep.
And that was the.
No, that's all on the printer.
Okay.
We scrapped the engraver idea.
Okay.
The web-based application I was gonna use was called Inkscape. It had way too much lag, and it would have been overly frustrating. So what I did was I subbed out for a vinyl cutter, and the web-based software for that is much quicker, and it's gonna be much more friendly when it comes to a frustration level. And with that, I can see kids making custom-made window planes and that kind of stuff. There's a lot going on out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
At Northside, we had more than 400 parents attend open house. We are setting dates for our hybrid learning grant that involves all of our first and second grade students. We now have 10 Chromebooks in all of those classrooms, and our first and second grade teachers will be receiving a lot of instruction in using a hybrid learning system. Let's see here. Our Tyler Tech trained the trainers at Northside. We had a couple teachers trained, and they've been very supportive in teaching our Northside staff. So I just want to put a plug out for our train the trainers at Northside, doing a great job. We also had 3 teachers pilot our brand new core reading resource at Northside. We had 3 teachers pilot, and those 3 pilot teachers are helping the other teachers in the building get familiar with this new resource, and that is our main reading resource at Northside. Of course, our curriculum is the Common Core. Let's see here. Our AmeriCorps service member started on Friday. She volunteered to come in and spend a whole day learning about Google. She is a certified teacher, but she is serving as an AmeriCorps service member. She'll have an opportunity to serve with us for 2 years. We will begin our Ames Lab and Dibbles Next training next Monday, assessment, I'm sorry. We have a book fair coming up at Northside and some family fun nights planned in September. I want to say a big thanks to PTO for assisting with kindergarten orientation, fall pictures, Northside lunch, and open house. We had 5 teachers apply for an Eco-Lot grant at Northside, and they were awarded those grants. And they're in the process of purchasing items to enhance instruction at Northside. Our new floor at Northside, downstairs, the floor is almost completed. We have more materials that I believe they were delivered today. And hopefully we'll have the upstairs finished, and I'll take lots of pictures and put those out on Twitter. But better yet, I'd love you to come in and see our beautiful new floor. Lots of adult learning going on at Northside. Our teachers, our classroom teachers have had 67 hours of professional teacher training. Much of it involving this grant, but we also have a hybrid learning grant. So lots of little growing pains. We ask our children to learn every day, and our teachers are also learning every day. So it's very exciting, and it's going to be very beneficial for your children. Thank you.
I am very, very happy to say that we will have a Human Service Center therapist providing therapy, outpatient therapeutic services at each of our school buildings, so that students do not have to leave Ellwood for those services. Parents will call Human Service Center. They will do that provide initial information. Intakes will be done in the school. Students who are only provided outpatient therapy through Human Services. This isn't for everybody. This is only for students who, and parents who request services. We will have outpatient clinics in each of our buildings. It is National Suicide Prevention Week. I am, yes?
So is that during school hours?
That is during school hours.
So they'll have hours just during school?
Yes, we will have a counselor, at this point, 1 day a week, until caseloads increase. And then she will increase her time in district as needed, as caseload increases. So it's very exciting. The parents do not have to go to Newcastle and those services are provided.
Will she base out of this building, or will she base out of the Human Services building in Newcastle?
Her base is out of Human Service. Okay. We are just an outpatient clinic.
So just one, like, there'll be one different one at a building each day, like she'll rotate through the building?
She will develop her schedule as her caseload increases. So we may have her half a day at Lincoln and Hartman, and then another half day at Northside and Perry. We have private space for that to occur. Again, it's just, right now we only have 2 referrals, and as her referrals increase, then her amount of time in buildings will increase. It's very exciting. It is National Suicide Prevention Week. There are magnets available if you'd like one. According to our new policy, 819, or I guess our revised policy, and Act 91 guidelines, we are now required to provide employees, parents, students, information on suicide prevention and intervention. The Tree of Life is having a community lunch and learn on suicide prevention and awareness, and both Human Service Center and I will be presenting at that. It is on Thursday, September 17th at noon, so if anybody's interested in coming, here's the information, and I can get more handouts. I am happy to tell the board that our new class at Lincoln is going very well. Our students have settled in very nicely to our new Autistic Support and Life Skills class. And our students at Northside in the Life Skills and Multi-Handicapped class have settled in very nicely as well. So some good things going on.
And our new teachers.
And our new teachers are doing great. So that's all.
all for special education.
Thank you. Anything, Ms. Pursuta, Mr. Schuster, anything?
Fun.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Chiller update?
Well, it's just about complete the chiller. They've been balancing it, which means they have to go into each classroom and run it and take all kinds of measurements. So a lot of the teachers, I get a lot of calls from them saying their unit's not working, and I tell them you have to be patient. This could take another couple weeks, but I think on the whole, I think everybody's tickled pink with the whole system. The classrooms in the inner core have been very cool. I haven't had any complaints other than the balancing part. They all seem pretty happy, and that's very unusual. And then the floor, I have written on there how much flooring we have, how much we received, and pictures of what they're doing. Because the material wasn't made all at one time, it's given the installer some headaches. But he's been doing real good, working through weekends and things, and he just got a very large shipment in today. And when he's done with this, he'll only have, I think, here's without my glasses. The whole job, 691 yards and 113 for the white. The first shipment was only 212, and all of the 113 of the white. That's all installed, and they received today 355 more yards of blue. And by the time they're done installing that, the last shipment of 124 yards will be here. So they'll be able to keep moving, and I think they're doing a tremendous job, because you figure they're having school now, you know, and they're installing this floor and they're putting the tape down, and they're just, I'm tickled pink with what they're doing. And there's some, I don't know if any of you saw the floor before, but when you see that, you're going to be amazed.
Yeah,
I think.
Looks great in the picture.
Yeah, I even took a close-up so you can see the, and I'm not real good at that.
Thank you, Steve. All right, let's go to revenue and finance.
Yes, could I make a comment?
Sure.
This past week, we had out in Shenango Township, a neighboring district, a horrible tragedy that occurred. A mother and a small child, 9 years old, were burned and killed in a fire. My daughter, my granddaughter, actually it's my daughter's daughter, my granddaughter is 10 years old and was a very good friend of the young girl that was killed. Shenango Township School District moved in right away with counselors for the, of course, children to talk to. And it was very, very successful. I know my granddaughter was like crushed, and it took a couple of days for her to get over it. It was because of the counselors that were available, and us, of course, as family. I have been assured that we have such a program here in the Ellwood district through Jackie and her crew. Leslie, was she back there?
Yes.
She's right there. You know, should a tragedy like that occur in Ellwood City, we are prepared to deal with it. And while we don't want it to ever happen, I think all of us has to be realistic enough to know that it could. Fires, a thief only takes what he can steal. A fire takes everything. And the years I've been in the field, I've seen many, many such occasions. I've seen 2 firemen who lost their lives fighting a fire. But at any rate, we have that available, and I think that speaks well of the staff that we have back here. I say the staff back here, meaning the educators we have. Okay, we're not educators, we're board members, that's different. But I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Now, Mr. Morelli, would you handle revenue and finance, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Newpower. Number 7 under revenue and finance, general fund accounts payable. In your folder are the general fund accounts payable checks. Included are checks 110167 through 110371. 204 checks and 10 wire transfers amounting to $2,238,899.04. I move the general fund accounts payable checks be approved as presented.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Cortez, any questions about the motion? Any objections? Motion passes.
Number 8, Capital Reserve Fund Treasurer's Report. In your folder is the Capital Reserve Fund Treasurer's Report for August 2015. The total investments at August 31, 2015 were $2,193.77, and the total available in the checking account was $23,382.20, for a total available of $25,575.97. I move the Capital Reserve Fund Treasurer's Report for August 2015 be approved as presented.
Second. Mr. Cortez, any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
Number 9, Capital Reserve Fund Accounts Payable. In your folder is the Capital Reserve Fund Accounts Payable Report. Included is check 1446 amounting to $4,357. I move the Capital Reserve Fund Accounts Payable check be approved as presented.
Second. Mr. Garda, any questions? Any objections? Motion approved.
I'd also like to ask that the following reports be included in the minutes of this evening's meeting. As of July 31st, 2015, the Statement of Revenue versus Budget, the Statement of Expenditures versus Budget, and the Tax Collection Report. And as of August 31st, 2015, the Investment Report, the Investment Earnings Report, the Athletic Facility Report, and the Helling Stadium Report.
Mr. Zrum, will you make sure they're made part of this evening's minutes?
Sir.
Thank you.
Number 10, Dyslexia Grant Agreement. Before I read this motion, I'd like to make a comment. This school board and this administration works tirelessly for benefiting and educating all of our students here. And if we really didn't believe that this would benefit every single student that's involved in our district, then I, Renee, all of us, all board members here, we are for these students. And the information that I've gathered from the administration and from the parents, I've appreciated it all and I've taken it all to heart. And I wouldn't read this motion if I didn't really believe that it would benefit all of our students. So, number 10, Dyslexia Grant Agreement. In your folder is an agreement between the district and Intermediate Unit 1 outlining the terms, conditions, and responsibilities of each entity in administering the Dyslexia and Early Literacy and Invention Pilot Program grant in the amount of $40,000. I move this agreement be approved as presented.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Cortez.
I'd like to add a comment also.
Go ahead.
I appreciate the concerns, all the information that the parents gave us. And I understand, I think one of the concerns are somehow students who are average or above or exceptional are somehow going to be not advanced. This is going to hinder them. And you have the assurance of the board and our administration that in no way is this dyslexia program going to hinder any students. We do have at Ellwood City School District an obligation to educate all our students. Every year we have a higher percentage of students who need extra help in getting started reading. Our administration, elementary and at Northside, is highly qualified for that and is dedicated to that. And these are students who don't have, unlike your children, don't have that support at home. We're the only link to help get them to move on. And that's why we are supporting this. Thank you.
Mr. Cortez.
Roll call, please.
Any other questions? All right. Roll call, Mr. Zerone.
Mr. Cortez?
Yes.
Mr. Garda?
Yes.
Mr. Morella?
Yes.
Mr. Newpower?
Yes.
Mr. Petrelli?
No.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
I'd like to just make a quick statement too. I'm not against this, I want to make that clear, but I'm not totally understanding everything yet either. And I will feel much better once these questions are all answered, because I feel the same way. I don't have a child in kindergarten, but it is new. I do trust them, they are working very hard to get this program implemented. But until I have all
of the information that I need to say yes, I can't say yes. But that doesn't mean I'm against it. So I just want to make that clear to everybody where I stand at this point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, motion passed. Number 11, mailing system equipment. In your folder is a summary of the proposals received for the lease of mailing equipment. I move that the lease be awarded to Neo Post Pittsburgh office on a 63-month lease at a monthly cost of $160.93, and further move that the lease agreement be approved pending solicitor review and approval.
Second. Mr. Carter, any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
Number 12, PSBA conference. In your folder is a summary of the estimated costs for Ms. Petrelli to attend the PASA PSBA School Leadership Conference in Hershey, PA from October 13th to October 16th. I move the estimated costs that the estimated costs be approved as presented.
Second.
Second.
What is this $3 million charge for this conference for?
I missed it, Mr. Stevens.
Oh, that's okay, we'll have that this time.
Okay, any questions? Any objections?
That was a joke.
Motion passes.
Yes, wait, he's writing it here for the paper.
Yeah, I didn't write it down.
Okay. I need your
Number 13, authorization to participate in access. In your folder are LEA agreements to participate in the school-based administrative claiming program and school-based access program for the 2015-16 fiscal year. I move the agreements be approved as presented.
Second.
Second, Mr. Cortez. Any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
Number 14, agreement, Slippery Rock School District. In your folder is an agreement between the district and Slippery Rock Area School District, which calls for the district to accept and provide services to a Slippery Rock student enrolled in the district's life skills support class. I move that this agreement be approved as presented.
Second, Mr. Tardo. Any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
And I believe that is all I have tonight under revenue and finance.
Thank you, Mr. Morella. We move on to personnel and education, Mr. Gardo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Number 15, substitute list. In your folder are a list of substitute, non-professional clerical, cafeteria, and custodial personnel for the 2015-2016.
Second, Mr. Morella. Any questions? Any objections to the motion? Motion passes.
Okay, we'll call vote on that, please.
Roll call vote. Roll call vote, Mr. Lowe. For number 15.
Yes, sir. Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Mr. Morella.
Can you skip me for a second?
Mr. Newpower.
Yes.
Mrs. Petrelli.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Cortez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Morella.
All right. Motion passes.
Number 16, elementary reading facilitators. The administration is recommending the following individuals as RTI PSSA staff for 135 days during the 2015-2016 school year at a daily rate of $100. A, Miss Amanda Rucknock, PSSA reading tutor, Hartman Intermediate. B, Miss Alicia Gretsch, PSSA math tutor, Hartman Intermediate. C, Kara Spiker, RTI facilitator, Northside Primary. D, Miss Robin Blight, PSSA reading tutor, Perry. E, Miss Heidi Feltrock, PSSA math tutor, Perry. I move the appointments be approved as presented.
Second, Mr. Cortez. Any questions to the motion? Any objections? Motion passes.
Number 17, fall coaches. In your folder is a list of additional coaches submitted by the athletic director for the 2015 fall sports season. I move the list be approved as presented.
Second, Mr. Cortez. Any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
Number 18, resignations. Jenny Haig, instructional aide, has submitted a resignation effective July 10, 2015. I move the resignation be accepted.
Second.
Second.
Ms. Petrelli. Any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
Number 19, tenure. I move that tenure be granted to the following professional staff who have completed 6 successful semesters. A, Megan Birdie, 3rd grade teacher at Berry. B, Dana Salanto, speech therapist at Hartman and Lincoln.
Second, Mr. Cortez. Any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
President, any questions?
We failed to address the PSBA elections. In, do it right now. We gotta choose between, we need to elect one.
You took it over now?
I guess we have to. I know that really only one was from our region,
Mary Burke.
I believe, and she is running for president, right? So
Yeah, Lebanon.
what's that?
Yeah,
Mount Lebanon, right. So I would nominate that we elect Mary Burks.
I agree.
Any objections to us choosing Mary Burks? So that's that. And then for vice president, we have the choice of just one, 2 of which are PSBA endorsed. Any,
They're not, there's none local.
No.
Oh, east.
Let's just go with John Love, because I think that's just the coolest thing.
okay, we have a nomination for John Love based on his full name.
Jamie, you can drink before you came in.
No, I didn't start
We,
drinking.
All right, any objections to John Love being our candidate? All right, John Love it is. That's it, just the 2.
Number 20, PSBA election. I move that the board secretary be authorized to cast votes for the following PSBA slate of candidates. President-elect Mary Burks, Vice President John Love.
Second.
Second by Mr. Morella. Any questions? Any objections? Motion approved. Very scientific.
Number 21, Midwestern Intermediate Unit 4 Substitute Shortage Verification. In your folder is a substitute shortage verification form certifying the district through Cali Services as advertised for substitute teachers and based on current response or experience of shortage during the 2015-16 school year. I move the form be approved as presented.
Second.
Clarification on
Cortez.
that.
Yes, Ms. Petrelli.
Can I get a little clarification on that? So they're basically gonna put in, if I read that right, non-teachers, they're not,
Listen, they've been doing this, what,
Yeah,
for 2 or 3
4 or
years
5
now?
years.
They go through a certification through the IU.
It's 3 days.
What's the,
It's
that's a
3
master's?
days. It is, I've attended it, it's 3 days.
So they have
Are you
to be.
qualified to be a substitute?
I am,
They have
yes.
to get that degree and
You- I have 2 full-time jobs, thank you.
That's all I have tonight, Mr. President.
they have that degree.
Well, we need to vote on that. Any other questions on motion number 21? Any objections? Motion passes.
That's all I have tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Garda. Properties and transportation, Mr. Morella.
Thank you, Mr. President. Number 22 on our facility requests. The Ellwood City Boy Scouts request permission to use the Hartman Intermediate Cafeteria on Tuesday, September 15th, 2015, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for scout sign-ups. They are also requesting to distribute flyers to the elementary schools. B, Rec Youth Wrestling is requesting the use of the Lincoln High School cafeteria on Monday, October 19th, 2015, and November 2nd, 2015, with an alternate date of November 3rd, 2015, from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for wrestling registration. C, Orange County 4-H Denham and Dusk request permission to use a pod area at Hartman Intermediate School for their bi-monthly 4-H student club meetings held from February to November 2016. The meetings will be held 2 weekdays a month from 6 to 8 p.m. D, the girls and boys basketball boosters request permission to use the big and small gyms at Lincoln High School to hold a girls and boys basketball tip-off tournament on Friday, December 4th, 2015, from 2 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., and Saturday, December 5th, 2015, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. E, the Rotary Club of Ellwood City requests permission to use the Leslie Sabo Auditorium for the Duquesne University Tamburitzens concert on Sunday, March 20th, 2016, from 1 p.m. until 6 p.m. F, Ellwood City Community Enrichment, a subsidiary of the Ellwood City Chamber of Commerce, is organizing a storytelling festival Saturday, September 19th, 2015, from 4 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. in Union Park. They have requested to use the Lincoln High School gym and restrooms in case of inclement weather. I move that these requests be approved as presented.
Second, Mr. Garda. Any questions?
Just a comment. The Tamburitzens that are coming, they include Alina Katrina, who graduated last year from here. She's now a member of the Tamburitzens.
Correct. Ellwood representative.
And anybody that's ever seen them knows that's quite a thing to see. They're excellent.
All right, any other questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
Number 23, transportation agreements. In your folder is a summary and copy of the transportation contracts required for the 2015-16 school year. I move that these contracts be approved as presented.
Second, Mr. Cortez. Any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
And that is all I have tonight under properties and transportation, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Morella. Student Affairs and Athletics, Mr. Cortez.
Thank you, Mr. President. 24, field trip request. A, Mrs. Jonica Waters, Lincoln High School gifted teacher, requests permission to take 20 to 30 students to PNC Park for Pirate Game Education Days event on Thursday, September 17, 2015. The group will be traveling by bus, departing at 9:30 a.m., returning at approximately 5 p.m. B, Mrs. Jonica Waters, Lincoln High School gifted teacher, requests permission to take 10 to 12 gifted students to Youngstown State University, Youngstown, Ohio, for YSU Math Fest 2015 on Thursday, October 1st, 2015. The group will be traveling by bus, departing at 7:30 a.m. and returning at approximately 3:30 p.m. C, Mrs. Jonica Waters, Lincoln High School gifted teacher, requests permission to take 5 to 10 gifted team members to Carnegie Science Center for chain reaction contraption on Friday, December 11, 2015. The group will be traveled by bus, departing at 7 a.m. returning at 5 p.m. in progress to the final round. I move the field trips be approved as presented.
Second, Mr. Morella. Any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
25, exchange program. I move that Mr. Jason Val, Lincoln High School Spanish teacher, be authorized to host 20 students ages 15 through 17, 4 mentors from Bolivia and Peru, an exchange program on October 7, 2015. Students and their mentors will shadow Lincoln High School students for the day in seeking new solutions to problems in their local community.
Second, Mr. Garda. Questions?
Question.
Mr. Morella.
Is this just during the school day or just like an all-day event?
I think it's all day, but it's gonna include the school day.
Okay, and we're not responsible for like giving them like places to stay, right?
Now, Mr. Bell's taking care of all that with the program he's involved with.
Okay.
He went this summer to, I believe, Bolivia and Ecuador, and it's the return favor.
Any other questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
26, athletic clinic expense report. Folder, the athletic clinic expense report as of August 2015, reflecting total expenses of $15,700.11. I move the report be approved as presented.
Second. Second. Mr. Garda. Any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
That's all I have tonight, Mr. President.
student affairs and athletics. Thank you, Mr. Cortez. Recognition and communication, Mr. Stevenson.
Yes, I have a couple. Mandy Zackelheide and Alicia Ledbeater would like to thank Mike and Sarah and Mike Sinclair for constructing the pad for the changing tables in the north side and Lincoln Life Skill with multiple disability support classrooms. It made all the difference to the staff and the students. That request for that accommodation was from Mrs. Cleghorn. Mr. Lape, the principal, said congratulations to Keith Golby, a Lincoln High School technology teacher, for his latest Donors Choose project that was recently funded. Keith's project received over $1,600 worth of additional equipment, primarily for the video production class and ECTV. Last year, the disc duplicator broke, and there were limited funds in the budget to replace it. Comparable replacements were somewhere around $3,500. So Keith managed to get a 5-disc duplicator for free, thanks to Donors Choose. The other device is to provide digital storage for all the video production projects. The entire order, with no charge to the district, thanks to generous donors on Donors Choose. Keith received donations from quite a few sources, including a $1,000 gift certificate from earlier in the year for completing a special coding project with Donors Choose. Last year, he received funding for 3 laptop computers through Donors Choose that totaled $2,044. The administration thanks Keith and his students for their extra effort. And yet another example of helping the budget concerns of Lincoln High School. Okay, now from Mr. Keeley. Congratulations to the Hartman Morning News team. Gabriel Bunger, Rachel Cunningham, Grace Balin, Marina Barlow, Kyla Cervic, Riley McElwain, and Mr. Frank Filatico, the faculty advisor, with additional thanks to Mr. Darren Morella, Mrs. Kim Deloya, and Mrs. Gina Wise, who've teamed up with the Hartman News team and have made it very special. The team has been scripting, filming, editing, and publishing the morning announcement since before the first day of school. The broadcast is quite professional. I encourage everyone to look for the Hartman News on Armstrong Cable 212 or 50 and on the television monitors located in high school, Hartman School, and Perry School. Did I pronounce all those names right, Mr.
You did very good, Mr. Stevens, thank you.
Great thanks to the PTO for the assistance with Picture Day. Oh, there she is.
It's not me, I mean, the helpers. I'm wonderful, wonderful helpers, but thank you.
Just always look at you.
I know,
you know.
I know. I'm the
Perry and Hartman staff really appreciated the help, and we could not have done it more smoothly without you. And also thanks to the PTO for providing snacks at the open houses at Perry and Hartman. The event was very well attended. We had over 350 parents come to the schools on those evenings. And the cookies kept us, why don't you bring us some cookies?
I just might have to.
Well, it kept us smiling. Man, faces.
He started laughing, just so everybody knows.
Oh,
No cookies
sugar
for this
free.
man. Sugar free.
Fruit? No, fruit.
That's all the accommodations I have for tonight, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Do you have anything under new business?
Yes. 2 items.
Oh, my apologies, yes.
First one is a van driver monitor. I move that Amy Klinger be approved as a van driver monitor for the Ellwood City Transit.
Second. Ms. Petrelli. Any questions? Any objections? Motion passes.
Number 2, general funds accounts payable report. In your folder is the second batch of general fund accounts payable checks Included are checks 110372 through 110386, 15 checks amounting to $452,243.76. I move the accounts payable checks be approved as presented.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Carter. Mr. Cortez. Mr. Polonus. Any questions? Any objections? Motion passes. Thank you for
That's all I have
keeping
under
me in
new
line,
business.
Mr. Carter. Thank you. Anything else under new business? All right. With that being said, we will go back to the visitors. Any follow-up comment? And even before we go to your comments, I'll make a comment. I can't speak for the whole board, but I think they would probably agree. We appreciate when parents are concerned to show up to meetings. We have a lot of these meetings and there's one person in the audience or maybe somebody that is here to speak from a contractor or something like that. I know it takes time out of your busy schedules to come here to show concern for your kids and our students, and I appreciate that. And we always welcome folks to be here. There are a lot of great things that happen in this district that a lot of people don't find out about. We talk about them here, again, to audiences of sometimes nobody. So encourage continued participation, and you're always welcome to come back, and we will address these concerns. I think Mr. Morella said it very well that we didn't just rubber stamp this program. We really did our due diligence and believe that it is in the best interest of all our students and that it's the right thing to do. And hopefully after we have an opportunity for our folks to get you those, address those additional concerns, that we will be able to all be on the same page. So with that being said, any additional comments from Ms. Jeffco?
One other, I'm sorry. I just wanted to confirm that our parent liaison is going to continue to be involved in the meetings going forward so that she can keep us abreast of everything that's happening, especially because all the details haven't been given from the PDE. We want to make sure we still have that concern in reference to how this is going to affect the general education. We understand, we share the passion of those students that are being lost and are not reaching those benchmarks, and we definitely share that, but we do have the concern with not really having evidence that it is effective in the general education setting, and we have we're concerned with the long-term effects there. So we want to make sure that our parent liaison will continue to be in those meetings so that she can learn all the information as it comes from the PDE, and she can give it to us. That way we can continue to have a partnership with everyone to make sure that it does work for all the kids, and that if there's anything else that comes up, that we can make sure that we're being proactive instead of reactive going forward.
Okay, thank you. Yes, absolutely.
We're talking with PDE about the issue of parent liaisons. We have to confirm with them the requirements to be a parent liaison and potential conflicts of interest. So we will figure that out and definitely we have to have parent liaisons as part of the pilot.
How was it initially assigned?
We put out a call to.
I volunteered.
We asked. We only needed to have one, we actually had two, so I think we might have had more interest.
No, Shelley Thomas was the representative for Title I. She had nothing to do with the dyslexia pilot.
We did talk to her and she said she was interested. She's been on the emails that have gone out to the parent liaisons as well.
There was one email that I got. That was it. So, I'm just saying, I'm not comfortable, obviously. I mean, obviously I think there's a problem with someone that won't just come out and say, I have a problem with you being the liaison, if you're gonna skirt the issue and just say we have to check into things. I don't know what the conflict is right now. There's no conflict. There is no conflict since you asked me to do this in June and I said I could do it, and I haven't been told otherwise. So
we have to check with PD upon whether liaison has to have someone enrolled in the building or in the grades that the pilot
My daughter's in Perry, so she's in the district, so.
But she's not in the grades that the pilot is targeting. And that's not us. I'm saying we have to ask PDE that. I also know that you're gonna be a future board member, so we have to look at whether that's in conflict of interest or not. And I don't know the answer
Well,
to
the
that.
election's not until November, so I'm not anything right now.
I know, I'm saying, as we move forward, we wanna have continuity of a liaison that's gonna be different.
Anything else from,
Mrs. Thomas, don't you have a child in kindergarten?
I do, and I transferred her. I waited for the answers, I got none, and the way that I'm being treated, I feel like that's the right decision for my daughter in kindergarten.
So
My
you
husband
don't
and
have
I-
a child in kindergarten? Okay.
Not anymore, she's at Holy Redeemer.
And to speak for her, she's not, I don't have a daughter in kindergarten, but here again, people think I'm on school board. I've gotten at least 15 concerns and complaints to me personally, and I said, come to the meeting. So, it's not just her.
I feel like it's really a communication breakdown from what I'm hearing, just with pieces here. When you're assigning someone a liaison position, and I work with multiple grants within my own profession, but you're to understand what those expectations are when that is assigned, and if that changes, that's fine, but that communication should be there. And I think that a lot of parents are feeling defeated with this new curriculum and program because they weren't, and granted, they didn't come to the meetings, so they didn't know, but not everybody knows that this is the forum to understand what their child's curriculum is going to be. But even when you have something like open house and it's still not able to be accurately described and explained to you, or the implementation of how that's going to look, that's when they really start to feel perhaps you don't know what you're doing. So, you know, our kids are at risk at that point.
thank you.
I think that Mrs. Jeffcoat put it as best and concisely as could be said. We as parents don't want our children to be involved in a reaction, but in us being proactive in their education. It's the third week of school. My child has been excited and wakes up every morning and counts down what day of school it is and what he's doing when he gets there. So why would I want to do anything but sit here and be involved and active in his education? And if that means knowing what his abilities are and wanting to ensure that those are being met, whether those abilities are below average or above average, wanting to ensure that they're being met by professionals who I am entrusting my baby with, that they are coming to him with the full balanced knowledge of a program that they are implementing and inciting into these minds that are excited and ready to learn. Because if he becomes defeated over putting numbers over letters that mommy can't help him with at home, that I knew nothing about before the second week of school, how am I supposed to help him? That makes me then be reactive, which puts me in a chair in a school board meeting that I've never attended, and being a resident in Ellwood my entire life. I don't want to be reactive with my baby. I want to be proactive for my child, for all of the children in kindergarten, first, second, pre-K, and my 1-year-old who is going to be attending school in 4 years. I don't want her to be 1 year outside of this and be, oh, well, we're really not sure what the modifications are. We can't tell you because we don't know yet. It's the third week of school. We should have that knowledge. This should have been concreted and in place before it was ever rolled out, and that didn't happen.
And it still is.
So that facts question.
Legislators too.
Yeah, and
Because they weren't told.
well, and those fact sheets that are coming out are again reactive. I mean, they're only coming out because we as parents are asking questions. If we had been dumb, deaf, and blind, and just sent our babies into kindergarten and said, here, have them, teach them, grow them, and didn't know any better, then none of us would be able to sit here. None of us would be able to address it at home when our child comes home and says, I don't know why they're mixing letters and numbers, Mommy. I thought 1 + 1 is 2. Not to is over the letter S. I don't know how to respond to that. And I cannot be an active participant in a program that educators and administrators can't give me the answer to how to respond to my child with that before they roll this out for teachers to give him.
Thank you, I appreciate your concerns. Anybody else from the visitors? All right, with no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Second? Second. Meeting adjourned.
The guy's
Just know that.